Hello, I'm Dr. Lisa Scarling. I'm one of the residents here at the Swedish Cherry Hill Rural Training Track, and I'm here with Dr. Ned Hammar. Ned, tell us a little about yourself.
Thanks, Lisa. So I'm Ned Hammar, and so I've been here with residency from the beginning, and I'm one of the things I'm passionate about is community medicine. So I'll chat about that a little bit. I was actually born in Haiti and grew up in a town much smaller than Port Angeles, a town of 400. And my dream was actually never to go into family medicine. It was actually more to go into public health. And one of the, I'll chat about this a little bit more, but one of the things that I really found in my path is that being a good family physician can be one of the best public health interventions there is. So, yeah.
What's something that you have learned while working with residents?
So one of the things that residents that you all, Lisa, have really taught me, this might sound funny, is actually the importance of primary care. So it was really in medical school that I actually found that I loved taking care of patients. I always imagined that I would take on more of a public health role, and that's still my dream for when I grow up. And one of the things that, so this is a little model that I made for our graduation a couple of years ago, and this captures some of my thoughts about where we are. In the Hawaii Department of Public Health has a beautiful model of public health and primary care in which they talk about I'm going to mispronounce this because I'm not Hawaiian, but Mauka, which is upstream, and Makai, which is downstream. And it's always been my goal to intervene as far upstream as we can in the health of a public, in the health of a patient or a population. And I always kind of considered what we were doing in primary care is really being, what one of my mentors, Stephen Briscuccia, describes as pulling people out of the water. And what I realized is if I reimagine, and this really came from working with you guys as residents, Lisa, that when I saw the care and attention that you give to relationships over patients, and this is something that I've always prioritized, but to see it through a second pair of eyes, just really put it into perspective, that when you take care of patients over time and develop that relationship, if I shift my focus of where are the people on the shore to where the water itself, like what happens in the ocean? Evaporation becomes the water cycle. All that to say that like when we actually do a great job of primary care, we can intervene and we can make those raindrops that are falling in the mountains super healthy, and that is amazing. So just the idea that that what we're doing on a daily basis can actually make a huge impact at the public health level. The other thing, we were chatting informally, as you know, Lisa, right before this interview was we just had this amazing lecture or a didactic workshop on clinical courage. And it was one of the things that came up was the idea that as a family physician, you're always learning, and that you're always part of a team. And so that is the other thing that being part of this residency has really reminded me, that I have, you guys are always teaching me, my fellow faculty are always teaching me, so it's really just an amazing learning environment.
I've really appreciated that about working with you too, seeing the relationships that you have with your patients over time and in the hospital too. It's wonderful to have such a team sport with so many people able to contribute and help support patients. What do you like to do for fun in Port Angeles?
Well, conveniently, coming back to my model, anything with water. We are blessed here in Port Angeles to have the mountains, the ocean, the rivers, and so the Elwha Dam, the Elwha River, which is just a couple miles from here. At the time that the dam was removed from it, was the largest dam removal anywhere in history in the world. I think that the Klamath in Oregon is now taken over that title, but it's still just an amazing recovery, not only of the stream and the salmon, but also of an an incredibly important cultural element for the Elwha tribal people who've lived here, for thousands of years before we showed up. And so I think just anything being near the river is kind of a way to honor that and learn more about the land and be in an amazingly beautiful place.
I have one more question for you. If you were a kitchen implement, what kitchen implement would you be and why? So
funny that you should ask. So every year we float not the Elwha, but the Hoh River, which is out further on the coast. And one of my favorite things to do with residents, as you may remember, is make pancakes. And so my favorite implement is a spatula. The other reason I love spatulas, and the reason I brought so many, is that I'm a huge fan of Weird Al Yankovic. And in the movie UHF, there's one of the faux television commercial in which they go on and on about Spatula City, and it's an entire warehouse filled with nothing but spatulas. So I know that's a little bit random, but we like pancakes and we like to have fun.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Do you have a favorite?
Oh, no, I was just going to attest to that because during the river trip last year, I was in charge of bringing the flour for the pancakes, and I did not bring the flour for the pancakes. I left it at home. And you magicked up this pancake mix out of all the other things we had, and they were delicious.
Just to give you a preview of the song for your graduation, one of the lines is, "What do we do best?" As family doctors, is improvisation. So I think that's very true.